My name is Mick Emandy, and I'm the CEO of HydroHeal. Now, on the back of the HydroHeal is the connector for the power. You can see here, it just plugs in right here. Okay, this is the power switch, and then there's a compartment here which holds the nozzle to drain the machine and a place for you to insert that nozzle. Now, initially, it may be a little tight for the nozzle to come out, but once the nozzle comes out, you're going to push it into the slot there, and you can see there water came out. And then to take out the nozzle, you just push down on the metal tab, and the nozzle just comes out, and you put it back in the holder where you took it out of. Okay? And then we're just going to put the cover back on, just like that. The front of the machine is right here. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. There's a lid. When you open the lid, you may see a cover here. Sometimes when we're testing the machines, we don't put that back on. If you don't have the cover, that'll be half the time. You don't have to worry about it. And there's a little cover here, a little turn, and it comes right off. Turn it upside down, and then you put your finger in, and there's a steel microfilter. You're just going to go ahead and take it out and turn it upside down there. And then now you have access to the main tank. You should have already gotten your distilled water in advance so that as soon as the machine gets it to your home, you're able to get started. Now, I'm just going to pour a little under half of this distilled water into the main tank. Okay, and it's just going to go to 3/4 between the minimum and the maximum line. And you can see there that we are currently at minimum line. We're going to go ahead and, if the water spills a little bit, don't worry about it. It's part of the process of getting it filled. And we're right now halfway point, and we're going to put a little more water in. So it doesn't have to be all the way. Now you're going to put the microfilter back in, and we're going to go ahead and put the cover back on. I'm going to wipe this water off. Now we have the water filled on the main tank here. It's a little over halfway. That's what you want. And on the side of these HydroHeal, there's these humidification tanks. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pull the latches from the center. Okay, then you're going to take it out. Okay, on each side. Now there's a little ledge here at a 45-degree angle to the top, and to the right of that ledge there's a stopper. So you're going to take the stopper out, okay, and you're going to do it for both sides. I'm going to do it for the other side too. Okay, I'm going to take the stopper out, and we're going to put in distilled water just to above the minimum line. Now the purpose of this humidification tank is twofold. It's to prevent the drying out of your nasal passages, and it's also meant to add moisture to the gas so that there's zero flammability risk. Because have you ever tried to light a wet match or light a piece of wet wood? Well, it'll never catch fire, right? So you never have to worry about flammability if that's ever a concern of yours. Now I put these back in this way, and there's some LED lights here on the bottom. There are 2 holes here at the top of this humidification tank. That means the hydrogen is going to come in through this one hole, come through the side of this tank, pick up a little moisture, come back up through this hole, and then go into the tubing that you're breathing in the hydrogen from. So you're just going to push it in here, push it in snugly in, and then you're going to pull the latches towards the center. And we're going to do this to both sides. So I'm going to add a little distilled water to this side also. Okay, you can see that's all you need. Okay, no more. Now, if during the course of your use of the hydrogen machine it ever gets above the halfway point, you want to go ahead and drain it down to this level. That means that the pressure of the tank and the hydrogen is such that it's pushing the water into the tank before it goes into the tubing that goes into your nose. So we're going to put this in here, same way, push it in, and then pull the latches towards the center, okay? And now your machine is all set up, ready to go. Now, each side of the machine, there's a nozzle, okay? Now, in the 300 and the 600, it says H2 on both sides. And there's a large tab here and a small tab. You're going to pull out the cover here for the nozzle with the large tab and gently put it off to the side. We're going to do it to both sides here. Okay? Now you have the instrument panel on the front of the machine. I'm going to turn on the power, and then in about 5 seconds, the power will show up on the screen here. There you go. Now we have a couple buttons here. There's the power button.
Welcome to use hydrogen generator.
Okay.
Please timing.
Tap that once, and then it turns power on to the device. Now there's a sleep button here that basically turns off the lights that are inside here, so that if you have it next to your bed and you're sleeping, then you can turn it off.
Sleep mode is on.
You might have to put a little pressure on there in order to make sure that it turns off properly, or
Sleep mode is
turns on like that. Now, if the voice is a little loud, you can go ahead and press the sleep button and the minus button.
Voice reduction, voice reduction, voice reduction.
Or if you want to increase the voice, you hold the sleep button down and you press the plus button.
Voice increase.
Okay? Now, for time, it's right now at 30 minutes. Okay? Now, to add more time, you press the plus button.
Timing increase, timing increase, timing
You can increase it up to 10 hours, and then you can decrease it in half-hour increments by pressing the minus button.
Timing reduce.
Okay? And then once you have the appropriate time, now you don't have to worry about the time. It can be up to 10 hours in the beginning, because really all you're going to be using, if you can keep the machine in use, you're going to press the play button to turn on and off the button, the device, when you're using it and not using it. So I'm going to press it once.
Hydrogen production start.
Now it's going to start generating hydrogen. And the bubbles that you see in the front of this machine and the 300, this is the HH300, and the HH300 is very similar in that it generates hydrogen, and the process of generating hydrogen is one whereby we're taking water, which is H2O, and using a process of electrolysis, we are turning that water into gas. That gas is now H2 and O2. And this device captures the H2, and on each side of this device, it puts out 300 mLs of hydrogen and 300 mLs of hydrogen. So together, that's 600 mLs of hydrogen. Now, we have some accessories that are coming with this that I'm going to go over. Just to let you know, the 300 machine has 150 mLs of hydrogen and 150 mLs of hydrogen here. The 900 device, HH900, has 600 mLs of hydrogen and 300 mLs of oxygen. We also have the HH1200, which is 600 mLs of hydrogen and 600 mLs of hydrogen here. So between the two, that's 1200 mLs. And how do we get the full flow rate of this device? Okay, so this is 300 and this is 300. So the first thing is we have these clear tubes. Okay, so these two clear tubes are going to go in each of the nozzles here, and on this side too. And then the other side of these tubes are going to be connected by this T-junction. It doesn't have been too deep or too in there. So just like that. And now we're going to take the tubing out. Just tear that off. And we unwind the ties here. Once we unravel it, all we do is plug it into The T-junction, I'm going to go over the process of putting on the nasal cannula and breathing properly and swapping out the nasal cannula. Okay, so here we have the nasal cannula. It has a little lip here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the lip against my lip and put it on like this, and then take each side and put it over my ears, and then there's a little ring here. I'm going to pull it up to make it nice and snug, and that enables the tubing to not fall off the ears, flop off the ears. Now, when I'm breathing, I want to make sure that I'm breathing in 3 seconds in through my nose and 2 seconds out through my mouth. The hydrogen is coming out as light gas through my nasal cannula. If I'm breathing in and out of my nose, it's pushing the hydrogen gas out of my nose, and the next breath that I take has very little hydrogen in it. So it's important to do this a little breath work, and once you get into a rhythm, it'll come to you second nature. But breathe in through your nose, 3 seconds, and out through your mouth, 2 seconds. 3 seconds in, 2 seconds out. I'm going to go ahead and show you this water catcher that's attached to your breathing tubes. Now, the purpose of this water catcher is to make sure that water is prevented from getting into the tubing when you're breathing it in and getting into your nose. Now, in this here, you see that there are 2 arrows, raised arrows. You can feel them. And what you want to do is when there's water inside of here, you're going to push them together, turn, do a little half turn, and then pull them apart, dump the water out, and then put it back together and do a half turn. And that's how simple it is to make sure that water doesn't get into your nose. So if you're going to be sharing the nasal cannula with somebody else or a patient, you're going to go ahead and there is a little connector in between the nasal component and the tubing. So what you're going to do is you're going to pinch the end there, and then you're going to gently pull on this nasal cannula, and now you have the connector connected to the actual tubing. Now, if you let other people do it for you, they do it improperly, and once you lose this connector, you can't use this. Preferably, it's better for you to actually remove it. And once you remove it, obviously, if I do it on both sides here, I'm removing this. Now I have a new, say I have a new nasal cannula. Now I just put one in here and one here, and I'm back in business. That's how simple it is. This is the only consumable that you might have. Some places elect to recycle these by washing them and sterilizing them with rubbing alcohol. Others decide to throw them out and get new ones. They are about $1.50 each. That's the only consumable that you're looking at with this device. Now, the only other thing that you'll be using is distilled water. Now, distilled water like this costs about $2 at the local grocery store or gas station. And that's the only other cost that you're looking at for operating this HydroHeal device for decades to come. It does come with a lifetime warranty, so if there's ever an issue, give us a call. If we can't resolve it the same day or by the next morning, you'll get a new machine shipped off to you. What's amazing about this device is that it needs zero maintenance. It does not require you to change the water. It does not require you to do any kind of maintenance whatsoever. Now, if the water is sitting for a few months, then you may want to change out the water and put fresh water in. But as a maintenance issue, you never need to do anything with the device. You never need to replace the water. The water that you're putting in the hydrogen generator is being consumed through the electrolysis process. So it's taking, the electrolysis process is taking water that is H2O, turning it into gas, and that gas now becomes H2 and O2. You're breathing in the pure H2 with this device. On higher end devices that we have, you're actually breathing in both the H2 and the O2. And by breathing in that H2, you're getting that directly into your lungs, the 100% pure H2 directly into your lungs. And that's really what it's all about. Nice. This gallon of distilled water will last approximately 2 months. So here we have the goggles, which are quite incredible also. What's going to happen here is there's some tubing that came separately. We're going to go ahead and unravel this. and one end has two separated tubings. And you can see on the goggles here, you have two nozzles on either side. And you're going to go ahead and connect this to each nozzle. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and disconnect one of the sides here. And we're going to connect the headphones. So now I'm getting the inhalation, and if I put the goggles on, now it has some protective film on the front here. You can just remove it whenever you can, and you just put it on, and when you put it on, it creates a seal around your eyes, and by creating that seal, it pushes the hydrogen gas into that ocular tissue. So it helps regenerate the cells of your eyes, your ocular tissue, your retina. And so it helps get rid of all the senescent or zombie cells and helps create new healthy cells. And that's how it helps conditions like macular degeneration, vision loss, glaucoma, and cataracts. Okay? And everything that I just said about all the conditions, you can just go to Google and type in the word molecular hydrogen and type in any one of the conditions I mentioned, whether it be Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injury, cancer, macular degeneration, all of those conditions. Just type it into Google and you'll see the power of what you just bought. One of the most incredible things is that the machine also makes hydrogen water, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna plug this in to the tube, clear tube by itself, and there's a stainless steel rod. This in a bag, and we're going to connect the stainless steel rod to the clear tube, okay? And just like that, we're going to just disconnect these two just so we can get the maximum amount of hydrogen in the hydrogen water that we're about to make. So I'm connecting both clear tubes to each side. And now I'm just going to connect the tube for the stainless steel rod to the T-junction. All right, so what we're going to do now is going to show you how we make hydrogen water. Some good things to remember is this. You have bubbles coming in through the front. Now you also want to make sure that you have bubbles coming in through each of the two sides, okay? That makes sure that the hydrogen is connected properly and you're getting the hydrogen being generated, so you make sure that you're getting the hydrogen in your system. Now, we have these two connectors, and for this 600 machine, you have 300 mLs and 300 mLs, and together, you're getting 600 mLs coming out of here, okay? We were breathing it earlier. Now we're gonna make hydrogen water. Now you can just as easily connect this to one side with this device. You can't really do it well on the 300 device because it just doesn't have enough pressure. The 300 device has 150 and 150, but you can do it for the 900 device where there's one side that has hydrogen, and if you have the 1200 device, you can do it for either side. You can have the hydrogen being made, hydrogen water being made. And together with these 1200 device, you have 1200 mLs of hydrogen coming out of here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and connect this to the clear tubing along with the stainless steel rod. I'm going to set it off to the side here. Now, I want to show you that here we have a hydrogen meter. Okay, you can get it on Amazon for about $35. And what we're going to show you here is the power of hydrogen, okay? On this meter, there's something called ppm, parts per million, ppm. That measures the level at which a body of water contains hydrogen. Typically, 1.6 parts per million is the maximum that one says that you can get in a body of water at 1 atmosphere. Now, you can see in here, this water has no hydrogen in it, and this water has no hydrogen in it. Now, there's something else called ORP, oxidation reduction potential. It measures the level at which a body of water is oxidative and inflammatory versus antioxidative and anti-inflammatory. Now, when something is very oxidative, it's very counterproductive to your body's metabolism, right? It causes diseases, it causes discomfort. And when it's happening through your GI tract especially, you're dealing with a lot of issues of gut health, such as, IBS related symptoms, gastric distress, loose bowels, problems going to the bathroom, abdominal pain, things of that nature. Well, what hydrogen does is it basically neutralizes that gut biome by making it very antioxidative. And the inflammation that's in your gut, it helps squash that inflammation down, not only in your gut, but throughout your digestive tract. Okay? Now, ORP, the higher ORP is, the more oxidative and inflammatory it is. Like something like Coca-Cola, for example, we know is not the best for us, right? Is about 600 typically, a positive 600. Something that's really, really good for us is a negative 700. Now, ORP is measured in millivolts, okay? So we have here MV. So that's millivolts. So we're going to see this water is 100 millivolts, roughly, okay? And this one is also 100. It's the same water, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to drop this stainless steel rod into one of the glasses of water, and we're going to let it run for about 60 seconds. Now, one of the things that's important to know is that when you're drinking hydrogen water, it's neutralizing the gut biome, like I just said. It's suppressing inflammation throughout your GI tract. And you want it to be able to have an opportunity to really affect those systems. And that's going to happen over time. It's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to see a meaningful difference in your GI distress issues. Now, I would say it's about 30 seconds, right? So what I'm going to do now is measure the amount of hydrogen that's in here, okay? You can see here, it's 0. Okay, here, we're at 1.8 parts per million, 1.9 parts per million, okay? That was in about 30 seconds, right? That's the power of this HydroHeal device. Now, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to measure it again for you. You can see it's 1.9, 1.89, 1.9, okay? And this is 0, okay? Remember I was talking about ORP before? Well, we're going to go ahead and press this button again. Now we're at ORP, okay? So, regular water, okay, this is saying 200 ORP, okay? This is negative 618 ORP. So what does that mean? Well, the difference between positive 200 and negative 600 is about 800 points. Let's say 700 to 800 points. That's super antioxidative. This is super anti-inflammatory, okay? When you're drinking it and it's getting into your digestive tract, it's suppressing that inflammation throughout your digestive tract. Now, this is what it's doing to water. When you're breathing it in, it's getting into your bloodstream, and the bloodstream is going to all 36 trillion cells in your body from your head to your toe. Now think of the power of the antioxidative and anti-inflammatory component of what we just showed you in ORP. This is oxidative, inflammatory, slightly. This is very antioxidative, very anti-inflammatory. When we drink it, it's going to neutralize our gut biome. It's going to improve the production of anaerobic bacteria in our gut, which is what we want. It's going to suppress the inflammation throughout our GI tract. It's going to help reverse all of the problems that we're having with digestive issues like IBS, IBD, loose bowels, diarrhea, abdominal pain, things of that nature. All of those issues are related to the inflammation, and hydrogen squashes that inflammation. Now, if this is what hydrogen can do to water, imagine what it's doing to your bloodstream and to your body as it circulates throughout your body with this negative ORP. That's the power of hydrogen. We're always asked, what makes your device so special? What differentiates you from other devices that are trying to copy you? Okay? Well, our technology has been around for several years, and we do have copycats out there. It's important to understand what makes a device do what it needs to do for you for the next several decades. Okay. Now, first of all, with our company, the technology has come about as a result of actual seeing patients. I have a medical practice for the last 10 years in Florida, and I have about 40 locations in Florida and about 30,000 patients. When I first got this technology, I wanted to be able to know that it worked for my own patients. So I chose the worst of my patients as far as health is concerned, people that were terminal with cancer, people that were terminal with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. In the beginning, I had about 400 patients between both those categories, neurodegenerative and cancer. People who are terminal, have them take the machine home and use it for their conditions. And over the last 2 years, I'm proud to say that none of them have passed, and they all have either gone into remission or had significant improvement in their cancer condition. Most of the patients who have neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, in just a matter of 3 to 4 months, many of them had a return of their cognitive function. And in a matter of 5 to 6 months, they're getting motor function actually returning, which are literally miracles. And we've been able to do this in our own practice. Over the last few years, we've come up with protocols that optimize the way the hydrogen is able to work within the body and get the fastest results for our patients. Now, a lot of these patients, as you can imagine, have other medical conditions, COPD, congestive heart failure, autoimmune conditions. So we've been able to really identify and manage the care of these patients over the last several years and gotten incredible results. My doctors and HydroHeal has the most experience out of anybody in the world of actually treating patients with hydrogen inhalation technology. Most of the studies that you'll see out there were with hydrogen water. Now, hydrogen water is great, but it has a very minuscule amount of hydrogen in it. In a actual glass of hydrogen water, 8-ounce glass, you can only fit 0.4 milligrams of hydrogen in a glass at 1.6 parts per million maximum saturation. That's in 0.4 in one glass. In a bottle of 16 ounces, you're talking about 0.8 milligrams, okay? But 15 minutes of breathing this in through your nose gets the hydrogen into your lungs, the alveoli of your lungs, carries it to all 36 trillion cells in your body through the bloodstream. And that allows you to get 744 milligrams of hydrogen in just 15 minutes. If you were to divide 0.4 into 744, you'll get a number in excess of 1,800. So in excess of 1,800 glasses of hydrogen water, or if you use 16-ounce bottles, 900 bottles plus of hydrogen water would equate to just 15 minutes of breathing it in. One of the things that a lot of people think that they're getting the right amount of hydrogen because they're drinking hydrogen water. As I just showed you, it's just not so. Hydrogen is very dose dependent to get the results that you're looking for. With hydrogen water, a lot of people have these hydrogen water bottles, and most of them have platinum coated electrodes. And what happens is the electrolysis process burns through that platinum coating. It's like a little paint job on a piece of metal. Okay, that's what platinum coating means. And what happens is over a period of about, say, 100 cycles of turning on the machine, making hydrogen water, that water tastes metallic. And what does that mean? Well, guess what? You're drinking heavy metals now. There's no more platinum there. It's disintegrated. In the same way, a hydrogen device like ours uses platinum, except that over the last few years, we've modified it so that it's no longer platinum-coated electrodes. It's actual pure platinum. We have, in every 600 device, over 2 ounces of pure platinum. And that platinum enables you to be comfortable in knowing that you'll never have to worry about breathing toxic fumes. Because what happens is with those platinum-coated electrodes, when that platinum disintegrates, now you're breathing in the gases caused by the metals that are now being electrolyzed. For that reason, The HydroHeal, with its extra platinum, ensures that for a lifetime, you never have to worry about breathing in toxic fumes. That's one of the things that's most concerning for most people. Now, our device also has 7 different sensors. We have a sensor telling you whether hydrogen is being produced. We have another sensor telling you whether the first sensor is working or not. So we have redundancies built in. That's what people do when they have a medical device. So we have a medical grade device here with all the different components and features that one would expect to have a lifetime of value with something that will help them feel and look better. One of the things that we have with our device is a lifetime warranty. So if there's ever a situation where you have an error message or it's not working properly, we are able to address that issue by you calling our support team. And if we cannot resolve it typically within the same day, we're going to ship out another machine to you. We are here. We have a medical practice. We have a big team of staff right here in the United States. We are based in Orlando, and we ship all over the world. So no other companies offer a lifetime warranty. We are the first and only company that offers a lifetime warranty on this hydrogen technology. One of the other things that's great about our team is that we have at your disposal a full team of doctors that are experienced on treating patients with molecular hydrogen inhalation, water, headphones, and goggles. So the full scope of whatever medical conditions you might be dealing with, if you buy a HydroHeal device, you have access to my doctors on a quarterly basis for a free consultation. And that's to make sure that you're optimizing the benefits of hydrogen and you're getting the best possible solutions. One of the things that's great about the HydroHeal device is that there are no consumables other than distilled water. Distilled water is available at your local grocery store or in Europe at your local gas station, whereby this hydrogen is able to be produced without any extra additional costs on a monthly basis. The only other cost that you're looking at is the actual nasal cannulas that are coming with the tubing, and those can be removed, and they are about $1.50 each if you decide to not recycle them by washing them and putting them in rubbing alcohol. So we have a multi-zone system with our HydroHeal device. So we're able to facilitate inhalation. We're able to facilitate making hydrogen water. We're able to provide headphones to drive the hydrogen gas into your ear so that if you have hearing issues like tinnitus, hearing loss, and it's able to also go deep into the brain tissue, and it's able to pass through the blood-brain barrier, and it's the only antioxidant that actually can pass through the blood-brain barrier, and that enables people who have neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, people with traumatic brain injury, people that are suffering from stroke, people that are dealing with migraine headaches. All of these people have a significant benefit by using hydrogen inhalation and the headphones. We also have goggles. The goggles go over the eyes and facilitate the eyes getting a saturation of hydrogen that helps regenerate their ocular tissue. And it's amazing for people with vision issues, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and cataracts. So that's the 4-zone system that we have. My name is Mick Emandi, and I'm the CEO of HydroHeal.